All right, so question number one had two parts. One was I to the 83rd. And when you get this, basically it's going to say, is it I, negative I, 1, or negative 1? All right? So it's almost multiple choice. So even if you have no freaking clue, you just pick one and you got a 1 in 4 chance of getting it right. How do you, and if you observe that if it's even, it's got to be 1 or negative 1. If it's odd, it's got to be I or negative I. And then you're 50-50. All right, how do you do this? The way you do the first one is you take 83 and you divide it by 4.
All right, so.
But what you're looking at
on the
is.
calculator portion of test 3, just so everybody is straight with what's going
You
on.
want to look at the remainder.
On the calculator portion of test 3,
All right.
I have a question like this.
So 83 divided by 4 is
Find the
20 with
vertex.
remainder of 3. Do we
And
agree?
It may also ask you to find the.
So
x-intercept.
83 divided by
This
4
one
is
may or
20
may not have an
with remainder of
x-intercept
3.
involved. It may not cross the
Right.
x-axis.
The remainder
But it
tells you
does.
everything you need.
I'll show you how
All right.
I found out as well.
So
Okay.
if the remainder is
for
0,
something like this, it's on the calculator portion for a reason. Because you're supposed to use the calculator.
the answer is 1,
That's what you're supposed to do. Yeah, I just called you out in front of God and everybody.
right?
Okay, good.
If the remainder is
So, let's
1,
go ahead and bring the calculator up.
the answer is I. If the remainder is 2,
So we have the equation. We're going to type
The answer
that in.
is
We're gonna
negative
go to y
1.
equals. We're going to go to pi
and if the
x
remainder
squared.
is 3,
So pi x squared
then the answer is
minus
Negative
square
I.
root of 5x. Again, depending on how your calculator
right.
sets up.
So in this case, remainder is 3. The
Yeah, I
answer is negative I. And I'm going to do something with that.
I'm telling you, in some South
Well, that didn't work.
Asian cultures, that would be the same. Be
I don't
careful
know.
with the square root of 5 here. Because if you just put the x here, it messes up the whole picture.
Good
Alright?
call.
What you have to do is you
I
have
made
to
it
close
bold
the square root first
And underline.
and then
The answer
press
is negative
X.
I.
If you have a TI-84, you're going to have to move it to
Here.
the right first and then press the X. Because your 5 goes up underneath
Just
the
like
square
that.
root and it looks pretty.
All right.
Alright?
Now, with
plus
this 2. one,
Now
the
we're gonna
mistake that
graph.
most people make is they'll put 64 plus 9i
So
squared
this graph does
because
not
they just
cross
kind of
the
distribute to 2.
So there's no X.
That's not
But
very good.
What's the vertex?
What you want to do
So,
for that is 8
Alan,
minus 3i,
You know, I love you.
8 minus 3i,
If you just
and
hit
then you want to
table
distribute that.
and you look for the smallest value, it won't work because this is
Details.
just giving you.
All right. When you distribute that, you'll get
it's your
64
solutions, right?
minus
So how do you find
8
this-
times
this
3i
vector
is
on the
negative
bottom? It's the
24i.
vertex. How do you
Then
find
you're going
it?
to get negative,
Now, I
another
see
negative
some people going
24i.
like this.
So you get 2 of those, and then you get plus 9i squared.
Hell, I don't know.
Recalling that 9i
right.
squared is
How do
I
you
squared
do
is
it
negative 1.
mathematically?
This
Second
gives me
calc. And we're
64
looking for the minimum value, number 3. All right.
minus
Now, if you
28i
remember when we were talking about the
48i.
vertex stuff, and I was giving you all those questions.
Minus
when's it
9,
increasing, when's it decreasing? Is it concave
which
up?
is
Is it concave
55.
down? Domain, range.
55
Remember all those
minus
questions I asked you
48i.
with the pictures? One of the questions was, is the vertex
which
a max or
means
a
the
min?
first question is correct.
Remember that? And it may have seemed kind of pointless, like why the heck do we
Gibby,
care?
what's wrong?
We care because
wrong?
in this case we know that the
All
vertex.
right, let us look this over. All right, so this is the question. When you have an inequality, and by the way, this very much shows up on the non-calculator portion of the test. Okay? And so even though it's on the non-calculator portion, what most people don't realize is that even though it's on the non-calculator portion, you still have to resort to a graph. So if I can bring this up, this might be the best way I have to draw a U, is using this stupid program. Pen's still not working, by the way, which would have still gotten you 5 points, but it's still not working.
He fixed it though, Ted.
Oh no, and now he screwed it up even worse because now I can't even do it because now I got this thing.
Your trial period ended. That's your bootleg computer.
So So now I can't even use that thing anymore. All right, well, no, I can't do anything. Great.
Just take the dry erase to the.
This is going to be wonderful. All right, so you got to be able to see this parabola. Oh, wait, hold on. This is going to be great. Where's the U?
There's a squiggly line.
Oh, you know what? Screw it. Pencil. Excellent.
I can't tell what's going on there.
We got an XY axis. This is X. This is Y. We're graphing x squared minus 8x plus 12. Now, because we factored x squared minus 8x, I can't do that, but because we factored that, this, and we got x minus 6, x minus 2, that gave us x equals 6 and x equals 2. We know that this is a parabola concave up, and it's over here because this looks like this. All right, where this point here is 2, and this point over here is 6. Do we agree? So when's it less than 0? Less than 0 would mean when it's below the x-axis here. So when's it below it? It's below it from 2 to 6. So that's why when we write this final answer, we write it as bracket 2, comma 6, bracket, because we want to include the 2 and 6, but it's underneath there. Does that make sense? So even though it's on the non-calculator portion, you still resort to a graph anyway. Okay, if not, what most people do is they just do x is less than or equal to 6, x is less than or equal to 2. They get the 6 part right, but they don't get the 2 part right. And then they think that they're close. Not at all. All right, nowhere near it. All right, so good news is, all right, here we go. We're moving on. So for this one, we're writing a parabola that's concave down that has x-intercepts of negative 6 and 11. What you should immediately recognize is if the x-intercepts are negative 6 and 11, then the factored form would have been x plus 6, x minus 11. Right? Like that's how it would have had to have factored to that in order for it to be concave down or be able to have x-intercepts of negative 6 and positive 11. All right? So that's the part that Kibbe would have gotten. He would have multiplied that out, said x squared minus 11x plus 6x minus 66, and gotten the x squared minus 5x minus 66. But if it's going to be concave down, you would have to put a negative sign out front. And then when that negative sign gets applied, or and then when you work it, you would get negative x squared minus 5x minus 66. And your final answer would be negative x squared plus 5x
What we have up there, you just forgot to put the parentheses.
No, that's not right either.
You just didn't.
plus 66. Yeah, it is.
Shouldn't it be negative 66 minus 66?
No, it's plus 66.
Because the negative goes out front.
The negative out front would distribute to all of these. Negative x squared plus 5x plus 66.
Yeah. And then you put the button.
All right, so unfortunately,
Can we continue